Hello, and welcome back to Rebel with a Plan. Today, we are going to be migrating into a brand new writing notebook. So, this is my original, it was a Commonplace notebook slash writing notebook. And I'm not, I mean, there's plenty of room in it, but in an attempt to find my joy of fiction writing again, I decided that I was going to take the Stalogy that I've been holding on to without really having a plan for it, and I'm just going to set it up as a new dedicated writing notebook. I'm going to take the commonplace element out of it because I don't really use the commonplace now that I have moved from a planner into a notebook that I use for all things. So we are going to migrate the things that I need from here into here and set this up in a way that is more cohesive for my writing process. So, real quick, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me as an author in case you're new while we flip through my old commonplace slash writing notebook, and then we will set this new one up in a way that is going to be more functional and cohesive for what I want it to be. So, if you are new here, my name is Dakota Rebel. I am a romance author. I have published over 130 romance books, and lately I've been really struggling to write. I have found some joy in writing nonfiction and sharing stories about my life with ADHD, and most recently what I'm going through with perimenopause in my new book, Hot, Foggy, and Feral. But romance writing has always been my passion, and I've just kind of, I don't know, I've fallen out of love with it, and I need to find that spark again. So the plan is over the course of the month to do things that reignite the spark, that remind me why I fell in love with writing love stories in the first place. So step one of that is setting up a brand new writing notebook because I'm sorry, it's just fun for me. It is fun for me to set up a new notebook since I know I'm not going to be in a bullet journal next year. I'm not going to have that, that new fresh setup of a bullet journal. So I'm going to set this up and use it as a dedicated writing notebook so that I can, like I said, reignite that spark. And I will have a place to keep all of my notes and my ideas and things in a single place so that I always know where it is. Everything is all together when I need to reference older things, and new ideas will have a dedicated place to go that I won't have to search through by digging through my current planner notebook. Who's it, what's it, as it were, So this one, I mean, obviously I was in this for a long time. I've plotted quite a few. Well, I don't want to say plotted. Plotted is the wrong word because I don't plot, but I do make a lot of notes as I'm writing. And it was functional and it worked. And, I like the style of this and I like being in a dedicated writing notebook. So I think moving into a new one is really going to help me the next book I'm working on is this one, Lead Me Not. But I've been really struggling to get going on it. I finished my last book several months ago, and while I do have notes and things about what I want in this new book, it's just not flowing. It's not coming to me. The muse, she is not a speaking. So in an effort to placate her, we are going to move into this shiny new Stalogy. Now, I watched a couple different writing notebook setup videos, and a lot of it was digging through supplies to find what they wanted to use. And while that's great, and who doesn't love seeing other people's supplies, they were 20-minute videos of pawing through their stickers. And I don't know, I didn't think that would be fun for you guys. So I picked out the things that I want for decoration. I pre-printed and made my templates and things in Canva so that I will just be setting it up and talking about why I've chosen the things that I have chosen to go in here where I want them to give the notebook some kind of structure. And I'm just going to bring you with me. So we're going to do the cover first. And a very important lesson that I have learned about stickers is that if you leave the backing on and you just gently tape them to the cover, you can use your stickers forever. And I learned that lesson because a lot of these stickers, I use them and I stuck them on and I can't replace them because the artists that I bought them for no longer sell them in their shops. So that made me sad. And so I decided that from now on, when I want to put my stickers on things, I will just tape them to the cover. And I am using painter's tape here because it will not ruin things the way like Scotch tape might. And I am going to put a clear cover on it so they don't have to be perfectly stuck down. Like he's curling a little bit. I might do those edges. But yeah, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be good enough, which is kind of my motto. Good enough is good enough, you know? They just need to hold as I cram this thing into this plastic cover. So we will go ahead and tape down his broad shoulders, Mr. Charlie Swan. You know, that's the hardest part of using stickers, right? That once they're used, they're done and you can't use them again. But if you leave the backing on and you just give them a gentle taping down, you can use them as you migrate to new journals, notebooks, planners, what have you. So this is my new little tip for anyone who's watching, is just leave the backings on. Oops, I don't think that needs to go there. And tape stuff down. This one is actually one I designed. It says, "I will not procrastinate today," and that is available in my shop if you're interested. Linked down below. I only have a couple stickers up right now. I'm hoping to get more of my stickers migrated from Redbubble, where I sell them now, to my personal shop. So, you know, if you want to check it out, it's linked down below. If you don't, no worries. So we're just going to get these stuck down. And then I'll put the cover on at the end. So let's move into the inside. There was a time when I used to do a washi dashboard on the insides of these covers, and they're beautiful and they're great. But this time I made an inspiration grid for my book series, Rock Hard, that I'm going to glue into here. I just want to get that lined up real good, because then I'm going to do this. And there we go. So that is the inside cover. And I think it turned out really cute. I'm really happy with it. Let me see if I can. So it's just some cute rocker boys and some, you know, typewriters and instruments and things that just inspiration, you know. And then I'm going to glue these pages together, because this is like the worst part of these kinds of notebooks, is that they don't, I don't know, maybe I'll leave that for now. So then we're going to move into some cheat sheets that I made for myself, which are a cheat sheet about writing blurbs, and then the Amazon listing page for the A+ image sizing. I refer to these all the time, so I want them in the very front so that they are always easy to find. And this is an A5 notebook, so when I make my designs in Canva, I always make sure that they are sized to an A5 size, and then I just cut them down. I do not excel at arts and crafts. Oh, come on. I'm not reprinting that. I missed a... Did I miss a corner? No, I guess they're all done. I am far from a perfectionist, as I'm sure you will see more of as we get into this. I don't really care about perfection. I'm too busy to worry about rips and tears and stains and marks and things. I'm just going to grab some tape and tape that down. It's all good. I'm never going to have an aesthetic journal page on Instagram, that's for sure. So there we go. Right in the front, I've got my blurb cheat sheet and my image sizing cheat sheet, and that way I always know where it is when I need to reference it. And like I said, I reference it all the time, so it always needs to be available. And then I'm going to put these cheat sheets that I made for... Listen, I don't plot my books. I am a very intuitive writer, but I found this book called The 5-Sentence Structure. 5-sentence plot... I don't know. I'll link it down below for you. But it's the most I do for plotting. It's the 5 key elements of any plot, and if you can write one sentence about each key element, you can intuitive write around them. And it's the most that I do, and I don't do it every time, but I do like to have, again, just a quick reference in here so that I can refer to it if I need to. So I also want that at the front. You know what? Scratch paper. And, not everybody prints things out. Some people like to draw things in. I take the easy route whenever possible. And so I like to just create stuff in Canva and then glue it in as as I get into it. I mean, obviously most of my notes and stuff, for my books, they do get handwritten in. So it's not like I just print everything out and glue a ton of stuff in here. That's not what I'm doing. But for certain things, I do like to just have it printed. So another reference sheet that I want to have near the front is this is like the character Bible for my Rockstar series. So because they're interconnected standalones. So characters from previous books will make appearances in later books. And you don't have to read them all in order if you don't want to. You don't have to read them all if you don't want to. But I do like to pull in past characters. So sorry. So I keep this in here so that I don't have to search the files or pull out the paperbacks if I need to remember a character from a previous book. I just keep the reference sheet right in my writing notebook so that it is always available to me. And then I just made a little quote page to go on this side. It says, "Write like it matters and it will." And I use the cover model from the cover of this book. And then we're going to set up the sheets that I need to write the next book in the series. So as you can see, I mean, I don't keep a lot of reference things in here, but the stuff that I do keep in here is the stuff I reference all the time. So I don't want this to become overcluttered like my Commonplace notebook where I can't find anything because I'm shoving literally everything in there. So I'm hoping that having like an organized way of doing this is going to help me. So then I'm going to put the book cover in here so that I know that this is the section that starts the pages I need when I start writing Lead Me Not. And I do design all of my own book covers. I do not use AI. I buy the stock photos. I buy the fonts. I design my own covers. Um, and honestly, I mean, it's a beautiful man and a beautiful cover. So I think I did a good job. And then we're going to go in with the character sheet, which is just a breakdown of what I know about these characters. And like their name and their age and their physical attributes, their character flaws and weaknesses, things like that. I don't know everything. I'm very much a discovery writer, and I will learn more about these guys as I go. But you know, the things that I do know up front go on there, and then I just fill in as I write. And then because these books are Rockstar books, every one has its own playlist that I create based on the mood of the book, based on my mood, really. And then this playlist, as I build it, I will add songs to this sheet. And then before I publish, I will put the playlist in the front of the book in case anyone is curious what I was listening to when I wrote it. Or, you know, the songs that I feel are the vibe of the story. And I just tape these in because who doesn't want to use their washi tape? And then I do include plot sheets. Whether I use them or not, you know, I kind of vibe it. Sometimes I do use them, sometimes I don't, but I want them in here in case I do want them. So this is just where I will write the five sentence method. That's what it's called. This is where I would write those 5 sentences if I decide to do that with this book. And I probably will with this one, just because I've been struggling so much. I think that I need some kind of structure going into it, a guide. And that's what these are. They're just guideposts. They're like little lighthouses in the dark. It's like, I know that the inciting incident is this, and I know that the point of no return is going to be this. And if I know those map points, it will be just a guide, and I'll discover my way between the guideposts, right? So, and then this one is so I hate to say that my books are formulaic, but they kind of are. They kind of all follow the same structure. So when I write a 75,000 word book, there are usually 30 chapters and an epilogue. Not always. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less, but 30 is a pretty good number of chapters to where I usually hit. And this just gives me a place to write just a couple notes about either what I want to happen in each chapter, or I can use it to write down what has happened, so that if I need to reference something later, like, oh, when did the meet cute actually happen? I can just flip to this page and see, oh, it happened in chapter 3, and then I can go there to reread it if I need to, or whatever. So this just, again, I don't always use these pages, and that's fine. You know, we set up bullet journals all the time, and we don't always use the spreads that we set up, right? So, and it's just for me, because I would imagine that after this video, you're never going to see this again. So, you know, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be completely used and loved and whatever, but I would rather have it and not need it than have to try to fit it in later in a place that doesn't make sense. Because that is when the notebooks start to fall apart, right? Things aren't where you want them. Things aren't, I didn't want to glue that. I was going to tape that in. Yeah, I don't want to glue that. Okay, we're going to do something different. So these sugar pants. Ugh. Oh no. I guess I'll just tape over it. Okay. So since I what I wanted to do, I forgot. What I wanted to do was tape these in because I'm going to need more space than this to track my writing sprints. But we'll figure it out later. I can tape over this, I guess, and I'm going to print out a new one to tape there. I don't always do writing sprints. I don't always track them. I don't necessarily need to keep this page once the sprint is done to refer back to, but sometimes it's very motivating to watch your word count totals grow. So sometimes I will track my writing sprints and sometimes I don't. And that's why I wanted to tape that in and I forgot because I was jibber jabbering away and just getting glue happy, but that's fine. I'll print out another one and I'll tape it over here. And then as I go, when I need more space, I'll just tape a new one in and just keep them rolling because I don't want to take up a bunch of pages with the sprint tracking because I will never need to refer back to it. And then I have the notes that I moved from this notebook about this book. I did go ahead and type them up and print them out, and I'm going to glue them in here so I have them. And it's like scenes that I already know are going to happen, random lines of dialogue that I don't even know where they're going to go. But some of it is pretty saucy because I do write adult romance. So I'm going to glue those in later rather than glue them in now and blur them out. Just because, yeah, they're a little saucy for a Monday here, or whenever you're watching it, but probably not something I want to share on YouTube. So we're going to put the cover on very carefully. And there we go. There is my brand new writer notebook setup. So I've got my inspiration grid. I will figure out what to do with that. I've got some cheat sheets that I need. And then we go into the stuff that I need to start writing this book. So hopefully having this shiny new notebook, it's all fresh and clean and waiting for ideas. So I'm hoping the muse will show up and want to use it. It's very frustrating as an author when you lose your spark. You know, I've been published for 18 years. Like I said, I've written like 130 books. And to not have that up in the middle of the night with ideas thing happening, it's very disheartening. And I am at this point willing to do whatever it takes to get that feeling back. So we're going to start here and then we're going to see what happens. And hopefully my spark comes back. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please don't forget to smash all those YouTube buttons for me and leave me a comment below and let me know, are you a writer? Do you want to be a writer? I assume there's some kind of writing spark for you if you just sat through a video about me setting up my writer's notebook. I hope that you got some ideas for yourself. I hope you found it helpful or at the very least entertaining. And yeah, so I love you so much and I will see you next time. Bye.